little, difference, but still, it's just the right amount. Is like, welcome back to episode 171 of the Airless Randers
Oh, I think the
podcast.
last episode we did, that was, I don't think I
You
did
should
it.
put in the notes. I'm gonna go on the comments and be like, is that oh my God, I'm so stoned.
I
You
think it
don't
was, I
say.
don't, I had
Manny,
we had a real bad opening a couple,
Manny,
That was a previous episode. Yeah,
who is the person that I say you sound like?
Nicolas Cage.
I'm gonna say in the comments, is that Nicolas Cage?
oh, that's pretty good. Say it,
Right?
that's
Doesn't he
high,
sound like Nicolas
say,
Cage?
that's high praise. Say it.
All right, hold on. It's high praise.
That's pretty close.
Right?
You
That's
sound
just
like
his
you
regular
sound like
voice.
Nick
That's
Cage in
his
the
regular
morning.
voice.
You sound like him in the morning before he's had his coffee or
That's his
No, before I
regular
had my
voice.
my wake and
nicotine
bake.
beverage. Yeah. Before Nick Cage has had his THC drink.
There you go.
Or his gummy mushrooms.
You guys have
Yeah.
that store called Total Wine out there in
Mm-hmm.
California?
Sure do.
We have a few of those here
Yes.
too.
How
And
you
I saw
liking
this-
it?
I don't know if I've been in. It's been a while since I've been in one of those. They don't have convenient locations,
Gotcha.
I'd say, as some other chains do. But yeah, I saw they were going to start selling weed drinks.
Oh, okay.
Are you-
Not in Texas, I don't think, but
Oh, okay.
or I don't know. It's like who knows what the rules are anymore? Are there rules? I don't even know if there's rules.
They sell
No.
mushrooms at like the store. I have these chocolate mushrooms. They sell them at like
Okay.
the smoke, like the store where you buy cigarettes, the cigarette
Head
store. You know what
shops.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Head
let's get
shops.
this episode started.
Okay.
Go ahead and start the audio, Chris.
Take my socks off.
Alrighty then.
Wherever the audio's at.
Yeah, where is it? Am I the host? I don't need.
Yeah, you are, man.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh shit. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's roll.
Good evening, Endless Runners. Welcome back for episode 172 of your Endless Runners podcast. We do what we want, and we appreciate your support. My name is Chris, and I'm just a mostly peaceful dad from North Texas, and one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by some other hosts. It's Quana. How you doing?
I want to have like an opening like that, like mostly
Mostly
Mostly-
soggy. I need to freshen yours up a
mostly
bit.
crazy, mostly feral.
Mostly crazy, partially sane. You know,
Soggy Mom and the
We'll have
Crunchy
to-
Mom's
we're gonna have to
world. That's what it
workshop
was.
it. We'll workshop
All
it.
right. All right. Well, happy Friday. I missed you guys.
Yeah,
You
it's good
too?
to be back.
And it's Man with the Plan to freshen that up too. It's Mole Man. What's going on, man? What are you out in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, man, I'm taking in this Aurora Borealis
Nice,
for
getting that fresh
yeah,
air.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the freshest of air.
Man, this is quite the timing we have here in this podcast. That I don't need. Is that where they are? Aurora Borealis?
It's viewable
Yeah.
from there if I recall. I'm not sure if it's viewable all the time, but I'm sure they have their moments.
But yeah, speaking of,
Texas?
we were just talking about. I don't know. We were just talking about I'm in Texas. I can see it. So yeah,
Okay.
we're just talking about the psychedelics being on sale at 7-Elevens or wherever.
Head shops,
And
to be
I just want to
precise.
say this is something I thought about. So we haven't spun in a couple weeks, but some things have happened in the last 2 weeks.
Oh boy.
I was going to say happy Friday to
Brother.
everyone out there who isn't eating mushrooms and then trying to take down a jet airliner.
Bro.
You see that story?
And it's just gone. Like so many major things happen every day.
Did you see that?
Like, yes.
I mean, it has to go.
Yes.
Those stories have to go away because eventually, in like the third paragraph, they tell you that the mushrooms he bought were just on sale at the CVS. You know,
Oh wow.
like we're at the end cap at the grocery store. So this dude was just apparently
Was he on a heroic dose of these mushrooms that he had purchased? Is that what it was?
in his
He's
mind,
like,
yes. In
I'm
his
like,
mind,
fuck it, I'm
yes.
gonna go all the way. If I'm gonna go on a plane, I need to be like really calm. Instead, he's like, I'm seeing past everything and I'm not fine.
Well, he was an off-duty airline pilot who apparently was the perfect guy, loving father, but suffered from depression and he was afraid to tell the airline company because he'd get grounded. He wouldn't be able to pay his mortgage. So he decided to start taking some microdosing some mushrooms.
Okay.
And then flash forward to he's in the cockpit trying to shut down engines and do a nosedive into the ground with the 83 souls and 3 animal souls on board.
That's not cool, man. That'll totally harsh
No,
anyone's
it's not.
morale.
It's not cool. And it's like, man, this freedom thing.
You
I really
didn't hear
like it.
this from me,
I really
but
like the freedom, but
I have a
y'all
lot
need
of
to
friends
stop
that are
trying
flight
to.
attendants, and the people up in the sky, there's some weird shit going on with those people.
Yeah, it's like they're cousins to
Drug
nurses.
addiction. They only test them randomly. Like you'll be walking off of a flight and I mean, and turns out you can travel with warm urine when you're a flight attendant because they don't TSA you. So you can just go in and pee warm urine. Like there's all kinds of jacked
I
up
think they
flight
have.
attendants that are traveling with warm urine. I'm telling you right now that I have a flight attendant that I've been friends with for a million years, and she's been in the air for 50 years, or maybe
Don't
not that
burn her
long.
then. Don't say anything else.
I'm just saying, there are women in the air that bring warm urine, warm, clean urine because they're on drugs. Like they want to take Xanax and they want to take whatever. And like, there's
I
all these
believe it.
rules. Like there's a ton of rules. So they all travel with like warm, clean urine.
I
Yeah.
believe it. I believe it. Yeah. I had a friends that friend, and his wife was a nurse, and she said that they just had the best drugs.
Yeah. Well,
Like apparently nurses are just, got access to everything.
rich with drugs. Yeah. Sure. That makes sense.
Now it makes me think, like, I'm thinking in more detail, like, because are they
Nurse
the ones
Jackie.
are they the ones like emptying out pockets and stuff like that in the ER?
Yeah.
Remember
Definitely, man.
there was a
But
story
also in the
about after they legalized marijuana in Colorado. I remember seeing this story about dudes that had their job was cleaning out the cars at the rental car drop off at the airport in Denver. And they were just scoring left and right because every car that came back to the drop off had, like, because they couldn't travel back, so they would just leave stuff in the glove compartment, leave their weed, whatever, just in the cars. So it's just funny. I thought it was a perk. It was a perk. It was a short perk for those fellas.
That's what you want to call it.
I would have called it that. And yeah, if I was like
yeah.
in the rental
Yeah.
cars, I've been like, this is
Christmas in
this is
July.
awesome. Can't wait till another trade show comes around.
Nurses convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Pilots
Like,
convention.
yeah, the nurses and the pilots are in town this weekend. We're gonna get whacked out of our minds.
And it's not by coincidence.
Crank baby. Just kidding. Sorry.
What else is going on in the last yeah, we haven't spun for a couple weeks, but yeah, just crazy stuff. Just the world is continuing its downward spiral.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't be so hyperbolic, Christopher.
I'm not even being hyperbolic. It's like that's just the way it's going.
Mm.
So many things, right?
Circling the drain, and it kind of needs to. You need to flush the toilet every now and then, don't you?
We have a new Speaker of the House. I mean,
that
that's
player.
something, right? That player.
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah.
him.
I don't either.
I really
Feels
don't know
like a
about the
cartoon
government at all.
character, right? It's like doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it is kind of getting to the point where it's like you're on the 18th season of some generic sitcom, and they replace a character, and it's just like,
Yeah. I've seen him on
whatever.
on my TikTok before.
There's lots of
Now
articles
he's the
written,
speaker.
there's tons of articles written,
Yeah.
a lot of videos, a lot of interviews, but it's like, no one really gives a shit.
Yeah.
And then his name's Mike Johnson too. It's like, all right,
That's
Yeah.
the blandest name ever.
that's not okay.
Exactly.
It's not Xander, Gudenfly or anything like that. It's just Mike Johnson. Like we're not even gonna like go past 2 syllables anymore.
I'm not even trying.
Well, I appreciate it, because it's like, if you are gonna just fake everything, why make it more than 1 or 2 syllables?
If we're going to be in a movie, like make the names memorable.
Don't make the spelling hard. Just use like basic colors. Like, it's like Reservoir Dogs. Like everybody's just like just like make the Secretary of State Mr. Pink. Next president just be Mr. Green, like Secretary of Defense be Mr. Brown, just simplify it for us, please.
Please, 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 please. So
locally, everything's fine.
Globally,
are you sure? Because
man, we had team pictures tonight. Team pictures tonight for football. First playoff games tomorrow morning. It's winter go home, baby.
Okay.
They're defending champions.
He's in the spirit. He's in the mood. He's feeling it.
Locally, everything's good. Just got to not turn on the devices. That's when everything gets bad.
Say, are you not affected by the border with they're like using forklifts to lift razor wire?
Well,
not affecting your community yet.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's not. I live in I do believe, I don't live in the best place in the country, but I do live in like
it's decent.
If you thought about like what kind of places in the United States are just protected, like what kind of places are just guaranteed success? Like no one lets criminals out. There's no one like letting drug addicts out on the streets. There's no homeless problems. Like there's growth. There's guaranteed growth. There's just schools are good. Like
Utah and Texas.
So I realize it's really like
Montana.
No, it's a little bit. I don't think it's step pretty. It's like I just live amongst the like the middle class, not like the middle class, not like the middle class like steel workers and they're going like blue. No, like just the bourgeoisie that are just like buying stuff nonstop and like there's just like I'm just surrounded by people that are just buying stuff nonstop and like financing things nonstop and just doing home improvements nonstop. And it's like, that's a protected class right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, nothing's going to let like homeless swarms and like, there's not going to be there's kids, there are random fentanyl deaths around here, but like, you're not going to have like trank neighborhoods where like, there's like downtown Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I realized like I live in like a really weird place where like things are just really good. But I know like you don't have to go very far from where I am, like less than 100 miles maybe, to like where things are really kind of bad, really bad, like where the odds are really stacked against people. And I don't really look at that as like right or wrong. I just look at it like that's the way it is. Like that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that in the happy hour. I was kind of getting ready to talk about like the normalcy bias where we think like because we live in 2023 and we have iPhones that make sense and they like figure out things and do like figure out what we like and just hasn't always been that way. Things are like the normal human experience. We've said, I think we've talked about this before. It's like people are at each other's throats. People are afraid. They don't have food security. Like food insecurity is normal. Like we've convinced ourselves it's not, and we gotta like, like we can't handle it.
Well, we live in a society where it's not. Like the majority of our waste is like produce. Like people just they're so wasteful. They buy more than they need.
It's crazy.
It's wild. Like I definitely grew up standing in line for food. The church fed my house so many times and like I can't even like I'm guilty. Like there are things that get thrown away. I try and like pick apart everything. Like I try and use the whole hog, if you will, but
you're using every part of the buffalo, as your people would say.
I do. I mean, I roasted a chicken today that I'm going to use to make stock to make a chicken soup tomorrow. Like I was shuffling around doing shit this morning to try and get that ready to make soup tomorrow. Like, yes.
I grew up in a weird, so my grandmother had some health issues. She was married. My grandfather, just great American, worked hard, served at some point, just salt of the earth, passed away. My grandmother just, she was just a stay at home wife to him. But at some point, yeah, like she just like was living off the state, like living off Social Security and like supplements and like just getting like kind of living like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then on the other hand, like my dad was like, you know, refugee from North Korea that had like a basement stocked full of canned goods, like just like was like obsessed, was obsessed with you know, buying in bulk and like storing things that lasted a long time because he, you know, like his early life was like, I might starve. Like I
Right.
might starve next week. Like
Yeah.
my parents seem to be really worried about us starving. Like,
Right.
so like it was just
It's a healthy
it's a
fear.
strange, like it's a strange I don't know, dichotomy or just a strange juxtaposition or like extremes of one person came from something just really like kind of normal humanity for the last
Mm-hmm.
couple thousand, like the average humanity for the last few thousand years. And then one person grew up in kind of a city where it's like there were just people handing stuff out. Like if you were like just handing out cheese and government cheese and butter, and it's like you could just
I
get on
still love government cheese.
like you
That
could just
cheese
get
I
on like another like growing up in like a city, a Democratic run city, a New Deal city, like post World War II, post New Deal, like where the government's just like giving you stuff all the time. And like, and our government had the ability to like keep borrowing money and like printing money to keep giving you stuff.
We're
Mm-hmm.
still doing that. What
I
are
had
you
that,
talking about? That's still happening. COVID,
I
they
had the
gave
thought, I
away.
had this crazy thought, which has a obviously obvious answer, which is not good. It's just all made up. Like we live in the matrix or like a fantasy world. But like, I just thought like, why are we printing a bunch of money to then give to Ukraine? Why doesn't Ukraine just print a lot of money to buy what? It's like, oh, okay.
There's stuff happening right now, and
We're just living in a scam.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but there's stuff happening right now. Mr. Cooper is a lot of people's mortgage holdings, and like their servers have been breached, so people aren't allowed to make their mortgage payments
Oh
for
yeah,
the
there's a
past couple days.
weird financial glitch the last
And
24
there's
hours.
like some money, like people who get automatic deposits for their paychecks.
Hmm.
Like some of the big banks aren't
We're susceptible. Yeah.
yeah, like they're saying like, sorry, we can't distribute your payroll because XYZ, we're having some problem, whatever. And they're saying it's like the Federal Reserve is having an issue. So I mean, I think, and I don't know if a lot of people have noticed like their podcasts aren't loading right, and maybe they're not on this server. I'm just saying, like, we all need to be prepared that shit's gonna not like work. Like, have you noticed like an uptick of people saying that their shit hasn't uploaded? Like, I can't get my podcast. There's
No,
something going on. Like, oh, you haven't?
no.
Okay, cool. Cheers. Yes, yeah. Nope.
I think Chris was just wait. Are you talking about like their own personal, like their own shows that they record to upload, or like the shows
I
that they
mean,
listen to?
In the Adam Carolla group alone, people are saying, "Where's the show? It hasn't
Oh, I
loaded."
mean,
In
I've
our
seen.
group message, there's been people saying that their podcasts aren't loading. Like, where's the podcast at? Like, things aren't working
Gotcha.
normally, like the way that they normally do. And I think that as a society, we should probably get prepared for things are going to be offline or things aren't going to be working,
Mhm.
things aren't going to be accessible. And like I said, about the being able to make your mortgage payment, like that's weird. Why
All
can't
right.
we make our
So,
mortgage payment?
do you think that they're disrupting the mortgage portal processing payment, whatever, to
I
disrupt,
don't,
that company's financial,
I
their
think
cash
as
flow?
at large, we are all very reliant on things working. Like we wake up and we plug in and we have power and we have cable and we have internet and all of our things are
Water,
working.
gas, yeah,
And
electricity.
maybe, well, I mean, not that extreme, but if they shut off our ability to communicate on Facebook or Instagram, like if our internet went down nationally,
Right.
I
then
wouldn't be able
fuck
to
a
talk to
lot
you
of
two
shit up.
again.
We would never see each other again. This could be our
I don't
last,
have your phone numbers
literally.
memorized. You don't even have, you probably, I don't know if you even have a landline. I don't know your addresses. If like I did have
Right.
like a If I was able to, if I was able to, which I probably will be able to,
I just
commandeer a
go to
helicopter.
Texas. Yeah, I go to
Would be able to-
Texas and I'm
you'd
like,
be
where's the guy with the bell peppers? He has a mullet.
Yeah.
His
Where's
name's
my bell pepper
Christopher.
plug at?
I think
That
it's
could,
important to imagine those types of scenarios. Yeah. Or
all I'm saying is that it's weird that I can't make my house payment because I am a Mr. Cooper customer. And like people who have payroll, like their shit's not going through because there's some like Federal Reserve problem. So it's
what's
weird.
Mr. Cooper? Is that code for something?
No,
Did I
that's
just get
like
a,
a lot of
Mark
mortgage
Curry?
companies. A lot
Oh,
of
okay.
mortgage companies, like that is like the funnel where he like distributes the payments.
you're telling me that
There's a
the,
financial
the guy
institution.
in Hanging with Mr. Cooper controls
Mark
the world's
Curry.
finance? Yeah.
Not
He
him.
controls the world's finances?
I thought that too, and I was like, you can't. Yeah,
Because I thought
no.
it was Master P. And I know
Yeah.
for a fact that they're two different people.
Well, I make my mortgage payment to Mr. Cooper. It's an app. It's like a whatever, right?
Right.
Okay.
And when you logged in to make your payment this month, it's saying that they are under like they had maybe been hacked. And so they shut all systems down
Mm,
until they can figure out the breach, but you won't be charged any whatever. Like I haven't been able to make my mortgage payment. And on
yeah.
top of that, there are people saying that also they're not getting their direct deposits because there's something going on with the Federal Reserve.
Well,
So
I don't know about that. I heard you got to get on the X. I really
I don't know how to use it. And
Twitter,
Jane, yeah, I
formerly
don't know how to.
Twitter, X app, like if you really want, like in like sci-fi movies when they have like the guy that's got the feed, like if you really want what's closest as possible to standing in the middle of the world and just having everybody just shout out their fucking stream of their like current thoughts or real thoughts, whether they're crazy or sane or whatever, they're real thoughts. Like that's what X is now. It's like,
But do you
and
have to be
I saw
following
like
those people?
no, not really. Not really.
Okay.
You will, but I think nowadays, like following people, you almost don't have to, because if you just start kind of interacting and looking at them, they'll show you more of them without you following
Okay.
them. So I mean, there's definitely algorithm games going on, but like you just
I'm
see
gonna
in real
screen record
time.
and show you guys the weirdest. Every time I log into that app, it is the
I
weirdest
saw,
experience of my life. I'm like, I don't understand it.
yeah,
I
because they're
just
trying
leave.
to like get you to, yeah, I don't, but like I saw it in real time this morning. There was somebody I follow was like, "Hey, I'm hearing that." Just a weird, no one else was talking about it. It wasn't like a engagement farming type of thing. It was just like, hey, I'm hearing my friends, like my white collar friends, talk about how their paychecks didn't deposit this morning.
Right.
Like, and I was like, I was like, okay, that could be just a crackpot. It could be a crackpot, whatever, nothing glitch. But then it's like throughout the day, it was like you'd see more of that. And it's like, oh, okay. And but then you see the official story come out. There was like a glitch in like some processing system, which I believe it. So it's you don't there doesn't need to be a conspiracy theory necessarily to believe that, wow, so much of our financial world depends on like one app,
Yeah, no, that's
like
my
one
my
piece of
point
software.
wasn't that there's like some big
Yeah,
whatever. My point is that we all need to like understand that that is possible because people are
yeah,
saying like that their podcasts aren't uploading. Like that is the least of the things that you
yeah. If
should
there's
be like looking at.
like one disgruntled employee at ADP, payrolls, unless I could be like just be like begin World War V, like
Right.
we'll just skip 3 and 4 and go right to 5.
The payroll
When
wars.
Yeah. It's like what would happen in a country? I don't care. It could be fucking Palestine. It could be Turkey. It could be United States, like where no one's direct deposit showed up. It'd be like
yeah.
24 hours, people are
Right?
ripping people apart. Like, hey, I heard this guy down the street, his direct deposit showed up. Let's get him.
Son of a bitch thinks he's better than us.
I'm going to go to Lowe's and buy a pitchfork. Oh, no, I can't.
Fuck
I'm
it,
going to
let's
make
loot
one. I'm going to make
Oh.
one. Get him. We'll get him next week it's going to take me a while.
That time you're already like, hey, am I really that angry anymore? Fuck it. Well, at least I got a pitchfork out of it.
You will be because you're starving. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, there was a movie. There was a movie I saw that had a great impact on me. It was called
Deep
The Mist.
Impact.
It was called a movie that had a great impact on me. No, it was a movie with maybe Elizabeth Shue and like one of the guys
She
from
had a
Young Gun.
lot of impacts on you.
Okay, it's just a coincidence. All right. But it was a movie where there's just or it was like Less Than Zero or day zero or something. It was very early in like the whole ATM. It was like very early in the days where it's like everybody was figuring out that you could just go to an ATM and never have to see a bank teller ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you just, but it was like a couple and they live out, just middle of wherever, just normal suburbs, but like the grid goes down and their kid is a diabetic and their neighbor's kids is not a diabetic running a fever and they can't get Tylenol. And it's just like, and people start going after each other for Tylenol, not bullets, not guns, not food,
No.
a fever
Tylenol.
reducer.
We
aspirin.
saw it with toilet paper. We saw like a mini microcosm of it in 2020 with toilet
imagine
paper.
imagine
We're
not
not
a dirty,
okay.
and imagine like this is what people will do to each other because they don't want to have a dirty butt. Because they don't want
neighbor who we're
because they don't want
friends
some
with.
swamp ass, like they don't want,
Yeah. He said to us, we were like,
think about
you
what
got
they
a lot
would
of stuff
do if their
saved.
kid is running a fever.
Yeah.
And there's no
Anything.
urgent care,
Anything. Yeah, it's crazy.
People do a lot.
Scary.
And I'm talking like not, your neighbor a mile away, but your neighbor that you knew.
Right across the street. Ours told us to our face. He said, we were like, oh, you guys they have like a lot of provisions and stuff. And my husband said, oh, we know we'll come if things go crazy, like jokingly. And he said, yeah, we'll see what you bring to the table. Like we live right across the street. He's like,
well,
yeah.
like what we were talking about before, like that, it's like,
how ominous.
What if I bring what if I bring a lot of numbers to the table? Like, like you can have a good argument is only going to get you so far in this world.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all cavemen.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it is, yeah, scary.
Yeah, people like do. I don't know. Maybe they're not, because you see these things where people are not protective enough of their kids, because you see these things where there's dudes playing like high school sports against girls and like bashing them in the mouth with
did you see
field hockey stuff and like
that was so horrible.
It's like maybe we have lost that instinct where we should protect our kids, because I tweeted out something like if it was my daughter, I'd be looking for that kid's parents in the crowd.
Oh,
and I got a bunch of like, bunch of like attention. But then I thought that was stupid. That was a stupid thing to say, because it's like the thing to do is to stop it from happening in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if
your daughter has to quit, the whole team has to quit. They have to stop. If you're
reacting to it, it's like you failed. You failed months before, when you should have been like, fuck this.
Not doing that. It's
quitting
not fair.
The league, demanding resignations, and
make a separate league. If my daughter wants to play in that league, then let her go play in that league and let her like
if the dude,
it can't be like you play girl sports and all of a sudden, and the trans issue is close to my heart, so like I understand it, but I don't think that this is right. It's not fair.
Yeah, like I think human suffering and like mental illness or issues, whatever, should be close to everyone's heart, but it shouldn't like dictate public policy, or it shouldn't there's a balance to compassion, I guess, like where you have to kind of balance like things. One of the crazy pictures from that story is that the boy who's playing high school girls field hockey, there's a picture of all his teammates, like his 5 or 6 of his teammates, girls, biological girls, that are holding him up horizontal, and they just had the biggest smiles on their faces.
Well, and that's the thing. So here's the thing. I feel like
They don't
obviously as a
realize what they don't realize like
You fools! You don't know what you've done.
they don't realize what they're giving up when they let this dude. Well, also they're happy because he's scoring goals. He's like the goal. He's like the county leader in goal
Hey, he's
score.
padding our stats. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna
There's
argue about that?
Hey man, if you're, it's like they say, like you can hate a player, but like you secretly want him on your team. Like that guy on the other team that's always causing troubles. Like you're just like, man, I really wish he was on my team. Like,
I think that there are a couple, like obviously every point has like different elements to it,
a lot of
but
layers, sure.
we are allowing kids to transition before they hit puberty. So if you transition before you hit puberty, you're not going to have
A chance.
right. And your strengths are going to be different. Like you're never going to develop boobs, you're never going to develop pecs. Like the male and different things. Like if we transition them young, which is I think what they're trying to promote, and I think that's why it's being pushed into the sports category because like you can't tell if someone transitions young enough, like you could not tell, right? So,
Yeah,
but
it's kind of it's go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I think for males transitioning to female, like the element of the testosterone is like just it's really hard to fight. Like I don't they're just always going to be stronger. So, I think in that aspect, you're going to have to make like some provisions
It's
because
weird because they start thinking, because you're right, and yes, they are always going to be stronger. So they start doing like a year ago, maybe a couple within the last couple of years, like the Olympic or some world sport ruled that they would no longer allow biological males to compete in women's sports. Fine print, unless you transition them even earlier.
right, like at 10 or 11. And then now
Right.
you're
So it's
seeing
just
all of these people like they're
it's so
pushing back the
perverted.
date.
It's so
Yes.
perverted. So like now they kind of they announce the game. So
Right.
now they're like, now they've kind of forced these parents that are like the parents to 10-year-olds
To do it
to be
earlier.
like, if you want your kid to play sports in the league that he, if you want your boy to
Or
be able
to
to
not
play,
fully become
yeah,
the thing that they think that they're
if you
not.
want your boy to be able to play, if you believe in this, because I mean, there's just so much mental trauma and manipulation and just sorrow, like
See,
these are not things that are happening in like a well-adjusted scenario. These are things that are happening a lot amongst a lot of trauma and just pain. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but like, yeah,
I
just
think because
it's
this
just
agenda is, I think because this agenda is being forced by big pharma because of all the money behind it, that there's a lot
there's a
of
lot of money.
nuance.
Buildings are
There's a
being
lot of
built.
nuance to like the layers of it. Trans has always existed. It existed with the Native Americans. They called them two spirits. Trans has always existed. I think that because of the profitability with big pharma, we will see, just like with the Sackler family and with the opioids, we will see that this is the next epidemic that they have pushed through. Because I think we're already seeing trans kids that have transitioned at an early age that are having regrets to what happened to their body. And I'm only saying this from an endometriosis standpoint because one of the most horrible drugs that have ever been introduced into the world, in my opinion, is Lupron Depot. And that is what they're giving to kids at a very early age. And it literally eats your bones. It is like they
Yeah,
gave
they
it
don't
to
have a
men with
chance. They don't have a
prostate cancer.
chance.
Like they're like destroying children. And it is a big pharma issue. So I think that like it's so fucked up because they're trying to push this trans agenda on people to make people hate trans people. Trans people have always existed, but like it's just like so much bigger because of the
It is
amount of money that they're getting paid to transition kids.
trans is that it has always existed. I wouldn't say it that way. I would say that, like mental illness, chemical imbalances, like just different people have always existed. And a lot of that is like chemistry,
Yeah.
and just somewhat random,
Yeah.
some random chemistry. And it's just like that's always existed. But it's like,
I understand body
I think when
dysmorphia
a society gets to the point where they begin to cater to all of these things instead of
yes.
trying to fix them or being like, oh, that's when it all falls apart.
You
So I
can't
think like
cater to
I
everyone's
think that's
crazy
when
though. Like
I
there's
think
so
that's
much
why
crazy.
we're in like, when people say we're in what is it, like late stage empire something, which who knows, it could take another couple hundred years to crumble, it could take 20 years, who knows, but it's like that's very true. Like we've become, well, I say we, like America, the United States, because I don't think in other parts of the country they're worried about the things that we're worried about. They're still worried about
Actual things that need worrying.
Yeah.
food next week. Like, is my kid going to survive this malaria bout? Like where are mosquito nets going to come from?
So I
Is
took
the helicopter going to come and drop off all the mosquito nets next week? They're really giving
In
me
our own
here.
country, are we going to be able to have eggs this week? Like, yes, they're not thinking about the trans issue. They're thinking about how can they feed their own kids in our own country. We
Yeah,
don't have to go to a malaria-stricken country.
I'm not
There's
happy
plenty of
about.
people here that are
Yeah,
struggling.
I'm very unhappy about what's happening in our country. Of course, I do think that we need to get back to our roots of American ingenuity, rebelliousness, like thinking outside the box, just being different, exploring is like, because I think a lot of America's problems are based on everybody's trying to live like the people in the commercials or like the people they know on Facebook from high
they've
school
been too the programming has been too successful, is what
and
you're
they're
saying.
trying the people you knew from high school, they're trying to live like commercials. So you feel like, well, geez, I'm not living like that commercial. Like, I'm not on Crotruda and, at a concert with
Yeah.
my girlfriends
Oh,
partying it up,
Yeah.
which I don't even know what it is, like suffering from some unknown illness, like having the time of my life.
Right.
It's like, so, but because I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about all the Gen Z videos, even generation of the millennials, like about how can't buy a house. It's like start thinking outside the box. Like there's like
Squat in someone's house instead.
no, like there's things like you can get like a little mini home, like a starter home. Like you could, like there's communities that are growing out there that are far away. Like you need to have like a remote job, I guess. I don't know, but
There's so many
there's
remote
just
jobs.
there's different alternative lifestyles, alternative ways to live. But if yes, if you are 25 years old and your goal is to live like the lady is living in the Keytruda Pfizer commercial, because she lives in a
Man,
brownstone. She's got, like
He said
30.
Keytruda.
you really have it out for this commercial and the
You're gonna have
cast.
Is that a
rectal
real one?
bleeding,
Is that it? Yeah, it's like if you,
esophageal,
it's like you can
whatever.
if you're on this drug, you can live in a, like $1 million brownstone in New York City, have 15 girlfriends that look just like you,
Hell yeah.
dress just like you, and go to the, Taylor Swift concert. Like, yeah, that's going to be real tough for you. I'm sorry. It's gonna be real tough for you to live up to the marketing department's expectations. But if you would like to buy, like, like live somewhere where you could buy like a $20,000, like, I don't know, like deluxe camper and just like live a little bit different for a little while. Like not forever. I'm not saying that, but it's like start thinking about buying things that have value that are gonna last. Like, how do you enter the marketplace?
I think we've
Because
raised a generation
that's
of
what my
kids that are
parents like.
hopeless to join a marketplace. I don't feel like they can join the marketplace because it's so it's like
Well, it just
ridiculously
depends.
overpriced.
They want to join the marketplace of, you know, Amazon Prime commercials and like pharmaceutical commercials where everybody's just rolling. They want to join the
Yeah. They got to leave California. My kids have to leave California if they want to have like financial home ownership, like that dream. That dream doesn't exist for kids in California, I don't believe. Just doesn't. There's nothing.
yeah.
Like you can't buy a condo for 450 in California.
Well,
In my neighborhood.
the dream is that they can when they're 45, maybe, or 50.
Yeah,
I know
maybe.
I have two friends that have purchased
My
homes
parents.
recently, and they're in their 30s still. To shit on your point, but anyway, keep going.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, good. Bless their
my
heart. What are you doing, Manny?
What do you mean?
so my dad and my dad and my mom, when they were married, they bought their first house. It was like $6,000, and
Wow, that's so cheap.
I know.
but guess what? It was also a kind of a shithole.
It was
Yeah,
a shack. It was a rundown shack.
Yeah, it was not nice. It was
right.
68 or whatever the hell. It was not nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like things were crooked. Like there was no central air. There was no if there were there might have been like a boiler. It's like there was like a sump it was like a sump pump in the basement that would like scare the shit out of me because it would just go off at night. Like
Right.
it was like
Sump pumps do.
it was like the monster house, like like there was a furnace, and it was just not, like my dad was always having to fix stuff. Like it was not, and he had to like teach himself how to fix stuff. Like he was like he was all about that stuff. He loved it, but like
It helps build character.
he'd be up on the yes, if you would like a house that you will never have to do a goddamn thing on, it's going to cost you $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay. If you would like a house that, well, you're going to have to learn some stuff. You have to pick up a hammer.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get a saw. You're going to have to sweat a little bit. Maybe you could probably enter the marketplace for, $100,000, $150,000. Now, when you take selfies of yourself in front of this house, it may not impress your friends, right? And it may not be Instagrammable. So I just
You're
made
right.
that up. But
Yeah. No, I think
like,
that's been made it.
but if you have a little bit of, smarts about you, maybe you sell that $100,000 house for $150,000.
You can move it to something better. But I
And
was saying,
you parlay that. It's like parlay something, like parlay a skill,
yeah,
like parlay knowledge, parlay it into something else. But if you would like to have instant beautiful house, like all your fake people you follow on Instagram, then yeah, it's going to cost you 500 grand. But I get like my parents' house was really cheap, and it was also really cheap. Really cheap.
Both in
And
quality and appearance.
he was working on it nonstop, like every weekend. But 20 years later, he sold it, and then he bought it, and he built himself a new house. So like it was not like, yeah, I guess, it, maybe that generation was luckier, but it was not fun. Like it's not fun putting up your own fence. Like I'd never had to put up, like I just pay somebody to put up a fence, like, and it's not cheap.
See, that's why your dad worked so hard, so that you wouldn't have to put up your own fence. He's like, no,
He ran so you could walk, Christopher.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he was actually very frustrated because he realized that, like, he put up his own fence. No, he was different. He was like pissed that I didn't help put up the fence enough. Like,
you ungrateful bastard! All that I did for you, you wouldn't even help me stay with a leveler.
I know. I was just like, I was like, I'm 7.
Like, oh my God.
I'm tired.
That's no excuse.
Yeah, really. I was like, I'm tired.
That excuse doesn't work on an immigrant.
You just want to play with your toys? Like, yeah, I kind of do want to play with my toys. But like he was pissed because he was like, I think he kind of realized, that like, yeah, my son's going to grow up and he's going to pay someone to put up a fence.
He's like, I could already see it in his eyes.
You really do have to instill hard work as a core value young. And that's hard to do in today's society because, like I have
I
a
just want my
son who
kids
has
to
a
know that they
very
might have to
strong,
work really hard. Like,
I mean,
don't plan on working plan on working smart and not working really hard, but just know that you might have to work really, really hard. And it's like,
yeah. My kid's dad, they would probably say he's an asshole, but like he had this landscaping thing, and I mean, I don't have anything nice to say about him ever, but he had rocks, like river rocks, and my son will tell you that that motherfucker made him move those rocks like almost seasonally. Like I want him in the backyard now. So Daniel would have to like load up all the rocks, move them to the backyard to the front yard. Oh, I think they would be look better next to the trash can. Like these river rocks, Daniel will tell you like fuck those river rocks, but
yeah, my dad, I
he's
don't know
the
if my dad,
hardest working kid. Like he everywhere he goes, anybody that he works for will say that he is like a hard like he works hard, like he just gives it all. So
I don't know if my dad had a real strategy about it, but yeah, he definitely was like trying to punish me with,
not
I
being
say
afraid to get
punish,
your
but like
hands
he
like a
was
splinter.
definitely trying to like,
He was instilling something in you, Chris. That's what he was doing.
he was definitely trying to, yeah, beat me over the head with that message like that, like,
Yeah.
you should know how to sharpen a chainsaw, like do a tune up
Yes.
on a chainsaw. And I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I don't like the things I'm learning now in high school. I don't think I'm gonna need to tune up a chainsaw and sharpen it, sharpen the actual chainsaw link by link. But
Zombie apocalypse.
I don't think so. But now I'm really glad. It's like, yeah, I was like,
Exactly.
I remember what like my dad when my dad's he built a second house, but he built it in like the woods behind his first house. So we had a bunch of felled trees, and that was part of like I did a business when I was a kid where I would sell cords of firewood,
Right.
but I had to like cut, like they just felled the trees. They were just like whole like giant trees, like really big trees. And I was like, well, you gotta like get a chainsaw running. You gotta be able to run a chainsaw and you gotta be able to cut it, and then you gotta be able to split it all. And I remember like one day I was out there and I don't know, I was like middle school and I was running a chainsaw by myself. And this is not in the woods. It was in like a suburban neighborhood. But like I was running a chainsaw by myself and I fell and it almost hit my leg. Like I was like, whew. And I think back now, I was like, man, yeah, my dad was like, he was like, here's the chainsaw. Like it was like not under lock and key. Like he was like teaching me, here's how you mix the fuel. Cause you have to put like gas and oil together. That's how whatever you
Right.
call that. I was like, there it is. Like, that's how you turn. Like, this is how you do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I fell down. I was like on these logs and I was like cutting it. I was by myself because I was like, he wasn't around. I was like, I got to do this so I can have firewood to sell this weekend. And yeah, I fell backwards and I was like, wow, I almost cut my leg off.
You could have become a gimp, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
But I mean, these are things like if you have kids, like teach them how to change the oil, teach them how to change a tire, teach
Yeah,
them
I
how
don't
to
know.
Teach
I
him
think
how
chop
not to be a
wood.
gimp.
I think, and this is, I think, a story as old as time. I think he had a hard time translating what he went through because he was like getting water out of a well.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's like an old story where he like a kid fell down the well and he saved the kid or something. It's like, yeah,
Whoa.
that's what he grew up with, like kids falling in wells, you know,
All right.
and not just some
Yeah.
baby, running onto a construction site in America, like
Yeah.
like a well, like
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I think he had a hard time translating like that to the 1980s. So
Hmm.
he was just always trying to make me fix things in the car or replace a tire or clean spark plugs or run a chainsaw. And I have the same issue today, like trying to translate that to my kid because he's just like, like what I got to do, like make the iPad password harder to figure out, like like
Yeah.
make the Amazon Fire Stick password key code a little harder, like, and it's like it's hard for me because it's like I can't have him fix the car because I don't know how to fix a car because our cars are just full of chips and electronics and like
Yeah.
like you have to have a like you try to clean your own spark plugs and you break your warranty. You had
Right.
$100,000 powertrain warranty and you broke it by trying to clean your
Totally.
own teach your son how to clean a spark plug.
Yeah. So you just got to teach them how to clean guns, fish,
Yeah, or
hunt.
just like yell a lot,
How to
Yeah.
bait
or
a
just like
hook.
Not
yell
yell a
like
lot. Like make your wife happy,
sneak attack,
those things too.
sneak attack them when they come out of the bathroom.
How to make pancakes.
Like be ready. You got to be ready for anything.
Yeah.
Like what was that? What was the guy's name on the Pink Panther movies? The guy that he would pay to
Clouseau?
attack. Yeah, that was it. That was the Inspector Clouseau, but he paid Koto, or
Oh, I'm not sure.
he paid a Chinese man to attack him out of the blue. Ace Man has mentioned this a few times. Like, cause yeah, he wanted his it's a joke character, but he wanted his
Kato. Thanks
Kato,
to
yeah. Oh yeah,
Monkey's
Kato
uncle.
Kate, like Kato Caitlin.
Yeah.
He wanted
Speaking of
his
the Ace
senses so
Man,
fine tuned that he paid like a Chinese man to attack him with karate.
speaking of the Ace Man, we had an Ace Man Tim Pool like meeting of the minds this week. Your guy and your
Yes.
guy.
As
Both your guys.
It was
disappointing.
like when Adam Carolla was on the show, The Masked Singer, for me.
Disappointing, like just or what? What was it? Yeah, like
Damn, you didn't like his appearance on there, Chris?
I didn't like it because I know that Tim Pool, I don't think he has a lot of reverence for a lot of people, but in the podcasting space, I've heard him mention Adam Carolla a couple times, like getting him as a guest, like, and he's just like, oh yeah, like, kind of as nerdy as he is, he's just like, oh yeah, he's like the godfather of pot, like he's like the original, like yeah,
He
he's
listened to him as a kid, he said
yeah,
on
he
the
was like, yeah,
show, which
that was a
fan.
really so. It was weird that Tim didn't bring that up at first. He brought it
Mhm.
up at the end, which yeah, like
You
that's a Tim
can't be
Pool
like,
thing.
oh, I
Yeah, like
fangirl over you
yeah,
though,
that's
right?
definitely a Tim Pool movie. He's definitely not going to fanboy out at first, but he'll let him know, like, yeah, listen all the time, like at the very
Mhm.
end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
I
because
thought it was good.
that would have helped Adam because Adam would have realized like because I felt like Adam was kind of a little intimidated because I think Tim Pool's reputation is that he's like kind of almost like a Gentile Ben Shapiro type where he knows a lot, he talks real fast, he can really come at you hard and fast.
I felt like Adam really respected that. Like it felt like for the
Yeah,
first
he said it a
time
couple
that like
times. Yeah,
people don't have bigger thoughts than him. I think Adam has big thoughts. I think he thinks a lot. But Tim Pool, and I don't listen to him. I've listened to a couple episodes that you sent over, but he just seemed to have like bigger thoughts, right? And
I think
Adam
so.
just seemed to
Yeah,
like shut up and listen. Like he respected that, which I thought was great. I was happy about that.
Adam was also on, and I'll say I listen to Megan Kelly's podcast maybe once or twice a week.
Okay.
And he was on Megan Kelly's podcast today, and he
Okay.
was a total passenger so far.
Okay. I'll have to send me a link.
There were parts where I was like, is he still on? Like, is he still there in this conversation? Because I was listening to it, not watching it.
Okay.
But I was like, is he still there? Because he would just not, because she talks, and yeah, it's kind
Bitches
of
be
like,
like.
yeah, where she's just kind of like, no, I'm talking. She's, she kind of takes charge.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm talking, I'm going to keep on talking, and I'm not going to like pause to let a
Well, I mean,
dude
it's her
start talking. Like,
show.
yeah, it's just her show or not. She's very, she's just,
Yeah.
just neutral, confident, just, I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's kind of a little bit of a passenger on that show. But did get but I think it's different because she's more of like a facts, recite articles, recite books, recite authors, like name authors, and he's more of like a gut analogy comedic guy. So yeah, when her show kind of turned into that where he could kind of riff and joke, then it was better. But at first, when she was just like rapid fire saying things, stating facts, things that happened, he was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was just kind of listening. So yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see Adam on Tim Pool, but also like it's a little bit different. Like Adam, I think he's getting better at it. And I don't like I love the guy, obviously, but it's like he gets on these shows where like those guys, like Tim Pool, that show, they're cool, but they're all nerds. Like they're all like internet nerds that are online and like reading stuff, opinion all the time. Like they're obsessed with like internet opinion, you know. So when Adam comes on there with his like gut analogies that he's been saying for years, like they're not wrong.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They're talking about today, the Secretary of State said this and that and this and that and this. Today, the budget passed this and this and this for Ukraine. Like they're more like more factual based.
Yeah.
Not wrong, but just very different. So it's kind of hard for those to come together.
I think Adam takes, I think that people like maybe Temple, I don't know, but I think that they get their information from different sources. I think Adam is very much still getting his information from the main sources.
TMZ.
And then he's going with his gut based on what MSNBC, Fox, and CNN, like he's like taking it all in and then giving what he feels is the opinion. I don't think he's getting to like, he's not on Substack reading articles and, whatever.
Well, I like that. I like the two together. Yeah, but they are, like that's a good way to describe. They're very different. Yeah, like Adam is just going with gut experience, time on this earth, and some of like the Tim Pool people, they're like, like they're in the 30s, like early 30s even. It's like they're going on less experience and more just reading.
Well, I appreciated Adam being respectful. Like, I mean, I liked it. Maybe there'll be some crossover,
Yeah, I think Adam was a little bit maybe not willing to go into his usual things because Tim Pool's the kind of guy to be like, well, hold, what? No, don't. Well, technically, he's like, yeah, actually, like
he was way less verbal in that interview than I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were both kind of feeling each other out, I guess. Yeah.
Mutual respect, maybe.
What's up? Yeah, I think just for watching Tim and the couple times that like Adam Carolla has come up on his show, like there's definitely like, well,
does Tim Pool ever talk about Ron DeSantis's lady boots?
Yes.
What?
He does.
You know who also talks about his lady boots? Ron DeSantis.
Is that his kink? He likes to talk about lady boots?
No, I don't know what's going on with him. Obviously, his campaign is dead. Like it's like a flailing fish on the dock, just running out of oxygen. But like, he himself keeps bringing up the boot thing on his own. Like even when he's in an interview where they're not bringing it up, he brings it up somehow. He said he was in an interview today where he was like, if Donald Trump has the balls to join a debate, I'll wear a boot on my head. It's like, boot. Why are you talking about boots, man? You just got caught wearing lifts in your boots. Why do you want to say the word boot? Who's telling you to do this? Like I said something, I comment today somewhere like, are these his natural instincts?
No, dude, it's
about boots, or
hold on,
does he have advisors that are sabotaging him?
I have a line. I know what it is. He has not a campaign. He has a sponsorship deal with Stetson, and he has to say boot as many times as possible.
Oh, okay. So so Adam, where he got really good today on Megyn Kelly, and like kind of because she's like looking at things from like a very normie perspective,
right?
He got into the whole like, I don't need to know about lifts. All I know is he's the governor from Florida and he's wearing boots and a suit. So Adam is just like, the only dudes that wear boots are guys that need to add a couple inches to their height or like are conscious about that. Like he was like, I don't wear boots. I'm 6'2", 6, whatever he is. And he's like, Danny Bonaducci wore boots every day in Los Angeles. And he went on a riff about how boots are just uncomfortable. And like, why would anyone wear boots? Like, I mean, maybe you're a cowboy. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you can't wear, shoes that are going to fall apart, in a couple months. You need to wear boots that are going to last years. But like, why would a modern politician living in a nice house,
Florida, not Texas,
want to wear uncomfortable boots? So Adam's whole point was, I don't care about the videos. I don't care about the pictures. I don't care about him walking weird. As Megyn Kelly would say, she's like, I have to admit that he's walking like a woman that's learning how to wear heels. But then again, like,
it's hard. Like your feet hurt.
Yeah, horrible. I've seen it. Like you're not walking heel to toe. You're placing your foot down.
Grossest places because I have to take my shoes off. Like I would rather catch stars.
You're walking like it's like heels. A walk where you're not walking. You're placing your foot down in front of the other. You're placing it down. And there's a video of Ron DeSantis walking across the stage where he's either an alien or he's
he's the guy from
he's a bipod. He's got like cow feet, cow legs or something.
Yes, that guy with this like half horse, half man or whatever.
Yeah, you all know him.
Centaur.
You know him from all the sci-fi.
That's the way he walks.
His last name DeSantis is just like a front. His actual name is DeCentaur.
Like backwards knees, like the guys from that Charlie Sheen movie, The Arrival. You ever seen that?
Yes, with the freaky aliens.
I love that movie. Anyway,
so Ron DeSantis is an alien, is what you're saying. I gotcha.
Either that, or he's got lifts in his boots, and then he keeps bringing up boots himself.
It's not the way that always happens, though. Like if you're like guilty of something, you're like, oh,
I need to divert. Let's talk about boots.
Yeah.
Not me.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fall.
I will never talk about the things that really bother me about myself.
Because that's not your way, Christopher.
No.
I feel bad for him. I mean, it's hard to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just be a short man. I mean, Ross Perot did fine. He was a little tiny baby.
But that was Ross Perot's time.
What the conclusion was like, it's not a big deal, but it is a kind of an inner look on how this person sees themselves.
Yeah.
Themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Themselves. I don't know what the word is.
Not a lot of confidence in a man who's wearing a lip.
Or like you got a lot of confidence, just not in this area. Like, or just like there's just a little like, like every dude knows that. Like even like the muscle, like the guy that's a weightlifter in the gym, is like my pectoral regular muscle is a little bit smaller than that guy's. Like
calf muscles. Yeah,
like my
calf all the time.
The muscle on the side
take a strong dude down.
The weird little 3-inch muscle, like on the side of my ankle, is not like on that guy. It's protruding. It's not on mine. I'm not going to say anything, of course, but like
I'll just let it gnaw at me from the inside, little by little.
I'm going to research and like, how do I make that muscle on my leg need to be, But like you understand it. So it's not like condemning, but it's like when you're running for president, that kind of stuff matters. And if you didn't know that, like I'm 51, I know that. I've never run for president
right now,
but I know
he should
that
not be running for president, and that's his biggest problem. So, however society wants to drag that little motherfucker, he deserves every bit of drag that he's getting, in my opinion.
Somebody or some
trying
group
to split some bullshit. He shouldn't even wait. You're young. 4 more years is nothing. Like the world was idolizing you for your COVID. Oh, I'm not going to make my people wear masks. Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not locking down. Let the world love you and then run. Don't run against the person that people think are going to save them. Like, it's a waste of our time.
Yeah, really. I lean a little bit sympathetic because like people convinced him that it was his time, that this was the time, that this was all the things were coming together. That yes, there are some negatives. Yes, maybe it's a little, but no, but it's the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And maybe those are his instincts were like, yeah, you're right. It is my time.
What if this was just to like?
He's
let's
like,
go get some
let me
boots.
lace my high heels
Let's
up
go get
and
some
hit
boots.
the
Damn
fucking
it.
streets.
Next stop, Justin Boots.
I think that's what this was. Is just a way to humiliate him so that he doesn't have any future opportunities to run again. So case in
Every
point with
now
the
and
whole
then on
boot thing.
Tim Pool like will joke around that like it's like that Ron DeSantis's campaign team is all like former MAGA and they're still MAGA,
Right?
because they're just sabotaging him left and right. Like the real like in politics, like well, I don't know, because Donald Trump he turned everything upside down. He totally changed it, because before Trump, if someone brought up a weakness of yours, you never talk about it. You have a couple lines. If like Barbara Walters asks you, you have like pre-prepared lines to respond to it, but you never bring it up. But Donald
Tom
Trump,
Cruise has been 5'2" the entirety of his existence, and no one talks about it. Like he's the tiniest man on the planet.
Well, he's damn near never going to bring it up, or his team's never going to let him wear lifted cowboy boots. I'll tell you that.
Never.
His team's going to make sure he's always with midgets.
Yep.
Like that's how they roll. That's how Ron DeSantis needs to get Tom Cruise's team on board.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump,
Nicole Kidman to roll up next to him.
Donald Trump did things different, and he convinced a lot of dudes that they could do things different too. Because Donald Trump, when what's his name, Dumbo, Senator Dumbo, Rubio, big ears, big ears,
Mark Rubio,
sweaty brow.
Oh no, no,
sweaty, yeah, Marco Rubio
from New Jersey.
No, I'm talking about Marco Rubio from California, who ran for president, and Trump destroyed him because he was sweating. Because during the debate, he was like sweating and drinking water a lot, and just Trump.
Was it Christie?
No, Marco Rubio.
Oh, Marco. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
He's a younger Cuban American senator from Florida now, but he ran.
Right.
And he tried some bullshit where he was like, he started making jokes about Trump's hands being small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what does Trump do in the next debate? He's like, look at these hands. They look, and his hands, I think his hands are kind of small, but he was like, look at these hands. They're perfectly average. And he was like, he brought up that. He brought up the thing that they were using. That's what
DeSantis is trying to do with the boot on his head.
I'm sorry, but you don't got it. I'm sorry. You can hate Trump all you want, but you got to admit that there's something about him where he can kind of flip things on
your head, bro.
He can just flip things on you.
He's got you.
Like love that for him.
I mean, you just want that on your team, but if he's on the other team, you're just like, man, I fucking hate that guy. He's a cheater. But if he's on your team, you're just like, I'm really glad he's on my team. Because that guy, like, you can come at him and he'll just flip it on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you can see it happening. You're just like, oh, he's just flipping it on him. Like he's actually, the guy attacking him is right, but he is just flipping it on him in real time, like, and making the guy that's right look like a dipshit. Like, right or wrong, man, you got to admit that's a special power.
Yeah, we love him for that, though, right?
It's like Charlie Sheen. I don't know why that, but I think your trucker hat is like making me think about Charlie Sheen. But like
of all things, huh?
He did abhorrent things, and everybody's just like, yeah, fucking monkey blood, yeah,
tiger blood,
sorry.
Monkey blood.
Everybody thought it was funny. And I was like, yeah, like I kind of like Charlie Sheen still. Like, why do I like Charlie Sheen still? Like, he's saying terrible things about people. Like,
because we're a country that celebrates celebrity like they're royalty.
We're a mess. This country is like.
I think we're a species that celebrates people that find a way to just kick conformity in the nuts. I'm not joking. Like, we're
You're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's kind of like why Andy Warhol is popular. Like, just because he was just like, here's your conformity, I'm gonna bang it.
Yeah.
Against its
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
I'm gonna paint it as a rodeo clown or whatever the hell I'm gonna. I'm just gonna just stomp all over it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Are we talking about Gavin Newsom, the basketball player?
I've been watching that clip so many times over and over and over.
I'm not sure what I like better, like him just mowing down some poor Chinese kid and breaking his ankle, because I do believe he hurt the kid seriously. I think that kid right now, well, it's hard to say whether the Chinese government was like, we're gonna like repair this kid's ankle and knee that Gavin Newsom just shattered, or if we're just gonna throw him in a ditch. We're gonna feed him to the Uyghurs. But like that video of him wrecking the kid, because that kid was in pain. Because you see the way
that was
like
so fucked up the way he like launched him on top of himself and was like, "You're okay, buddy."
I've seen a lot of sports injuries in my life, and that kid definitely got hurt. Like he either got an ankle destroyed or his knee.
Do you think
the way the 200-pound man fell on the 70-pound boy,
and
like
that basketball material is like a little bit of like, it's like a little bit, it's like, you know, that footing that they're on, it's like that turf. Like if it had been like gravel, maybe a little bit more slide, but the way he hit him on that, like his feet stuck and he like hit that kid until he took him down.
There's two things going on. First of all, he was having sunshine shoved up his ass on that trip. Like he had all these Chinese people like in Chinese, like he couldn't even understand what they're saying, but apparently they're like kissing his ass, like, "Oh, I love you, you're the best."
They seem as beautiful, right?
You're the best. I was going into an Italian accent for the Chinese people.
Yeah,
but like he's just like has all, because they're paying people, like crowds of Chinese people to clap,
come worship. Yeah.
You know, they're clapping for Gavin Newsom. So he felt like a baller. He's just like, "Oh, I'm going to fucking dunk this ball."
He's like, "This is what it'd be like to be president."
And for a split second, he forgot that there's like 5 or 6 tiny children on this court too. And he ran one over. That was my favorite part. It's like, he was full of confidence and he was like dribbling it between his legs, like doing like fucking Kyrie Irving spin move.
Can we show it without getting kicked off the internet? Can we show that, or we get kicked off YouTube?
He obliterated this kid.
It's so good.
But
I'll look for some video. Hold on.
That's that's one side of the glory of this. The second side is how
I don't think that was him falling down the stairs at the airport. I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't think that was him.
Shut up.
You don't think that was who?
Shut up and delete that part. I don't. You ruined this whole episode. No, but the best part of him wrecking the Chinese kid is like, and I want you to really imagine that right after he wrecked this kid and like wrecked his leg, took his hip out of socket, he picked the little kid up like a rag doll and was petting him, like
laid him over his belly,
like my 6-year-old girls pet their lubbies, like their little fluffy teddy bear or whatever, just like he just picked this guy up like a rag doll and was like, and then started smacking him, like rubbing him, and this kid's like, you know, just had his like leg ripped out of the socket,
a little chubby, broken ankle.
But yeah, that was like the last second and a half of that video was him just like, instead of like being like, "Oh my God, son, are you hurt? I'm so sorry. Like, where's this kid's parents?" He just like yanked the kid up like a rag doll and started like stroking him like a, like picture a silverback gorilla after he kills a squirrel, like cuddling the squirrel, like pet, like being like, "Are you okay, squirrel? Wake up, squirrel." He picked him up like a rag doll. He picked him up like a rag doll, like he wasn't even a human child.
All right, hold on. I got the video.
Do you think that Gavin Newsom would ever pick up his own injured child like that?
No, his kids are being coddled by the Secret Service. They won't even get out of their cars to go to fucking school.
Man, I just hate these people.
Oh Lord!
Look at everybody clap. Look at it, like even in Cloma, clapping. Everybody clapping. Look at clap.
It does look like he lands on his leg, like kind of folds over.
He definitely lands
like, "You're okay.
Oh yeah, it grabs him in.
Like right there. It kind of looks like it falls over and falls on
That's a Lawrence Taylor type injury right there.
And then he's like, "I got you."
He's bawling. He's crying. He's crying. He's in
Oh, I
pain.
got you.
Yeah, he's trying to play it off.
Oh, damn it. Why'd you have to
He's
go?
hurt.
He looked like he was trying to laugh it off, that little kid. He's in on it. He's getting paid too.
Yeah. He's like, my family will eat this week.
That's
Like,
true.
son, this is gonna make our family rich. So
Yeah,
just
he's
take this
my
fall.
family. Like they're holding my family
We're
hostage.
going
right
to the
now.
French Laundry, bitches.
I was told that even if you roll me over, like to take the charging penalty, you know. This reminds me of a time when I worked in a warehouse in my early 20s, and I had a supervisor. His name was Tyler.
Uh-huh.
And he actually got me the job. But in this warehouse, we had a basketball hoop, so we'd play basketball sometimes. And there was one day, like he was like he tried to play, like, you know, he wanted to like go.
Right.
So I did like my spin move with an elbow out, and I cracked him like right in the front, chipped his front tooth with my elbow. And he was like, "You chipped my tooth." And he's my boss at the time too. And I was like, it was just a real awkward situation.
Damn, bro. Can't take you anywhere. You're so aggressive.
Yeah, it's weird, Christopher. Stories all lead back to
But I was like, I don't know
your
what
toxic masculinity.
My first thought was like, man, I don't have the money to pay for that. I'm not sure how much it costs, but it's more than I got.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just gonna say that why'd you stick your face down there?
What Gavin did with that little Asian kid. He's like,
Yeah,
why
he's
are
like,
you
yeah,
so
like, you saw me.
Chinese?
Yeah, but he was like, he was feeling real confident and like did a move that he did when he was 20, but he realized he's like 50. Because
I can't do
trust
it
me,
anymore.
Trust me, I've eaten it on a scooter in the last
that's right.
12 months where I was like,
yeah.
I can do this.
Absolutely. Almost this might be the anniversary of you falling on the scooter. Like if we went back to the tapes,
it was about
this
fall
might
time.
actually be the anniversary.
I can almost picture the color of the grass. It was starting to brown a little bit as I was like tumbling over. But like, yeah, I'm there. Like I realize like, or I'm just like, I'm going to pull this move that I did when I was 20, but it's like I'm 50 and one of my legs doesn't move the way it used to move. And now I'm falling down on a child.
Yes.
Or now I'm going to get hurt. He wrecked that kid. I love it.
He did.
You're saying it wasn't him that felt, damn it. No, it was him.
I don't think it was him. Some of the comments are like, that's not Gavin. That's not, and why would Gavin be carrying his own luggage also?
Because he wants to show he's a man of the people. I have all the answers.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I was like, he's carrying his own luggage. Oh, he's such a common guy. He's such a common man getting off a private jet.
Knocking over kids
with cameras on him, filming
that it's him.
Filming how.
I know I sent that earlier in the week, and then when Robbie sent it, I looked at it again. I was like,
"Here we go." No, he went
on
on hard because like they were comparing him to Joe Biden, but
yeah,
it was all of Joe Biden's falls in one because he went down like 20 stairs, and I feel like he's still going. That's what I said. I want to see one of those meme videos where Gavin Newsom's sliding down the stairs, but then he keeps sliding.
Eternity.
And he's like,
no one wishes that more than me.
He's sliding down the Himalayas. You know, he's sliding down the Great Wall of China. I was going to say the Great Chall of Wina, but I corrected it.
I think you've had too much to drink.
Yeah, that was good. You did good.
I corrected myself, and I noted the correction. But like, and then like, and also to finish it off, it'd be like he slides down some stairs and knocks Hillary Clinton over.
Hey, now
it's like that meme
in a perfect world.
The meme or GIF where Donald Trump hits a golf ball,
right,
and then it hits Hillary Clinton in the back of their head as she's tripping down some stairs. It's gold.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Clinton because when I was up in Oregon last weekend,
tell us all about your trip.
I survived, a brief encounter with the Clinton. There was a Clinton movie theater there. I've avoided it at all costs. I was like, nope.
What were they doing
there?
Yeah, there is.
They having like a rally,
No, it's just called the Clinton. It has no affiliation with that family.
It's like,
not like they're shipping containers.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a bunch of chicks in like Maoist pantsuits.
None that I saw. Maybe they were there, but they were just
short,
maybe hiding.
Short haircuts and Mao like pantsuits.
Yeah.
Mandarin collars, talking about democracy,
Oh my
talking about
God.
saving democracy for the people.
I think they were
Happy
there at
birthday
the
to Manny too.
Yeah,
You had a
happy
birthday
birthday.
and a trip.
So
It
what was the
a good
trip all
time.
about? Did you see some friends, some old friends, or what? What's going on?
Yeah, I crashed out at my friend's house. Shout out to Shaggy and his wife, and their cat Schrodinger. It was a good time. It was,
No Scooby,
brief.
no Scooby in there.
No Scooby.
No Fred, no Wilma.
No, none of that.
No, not a bird named Daphne. Nothing.
No.
All right.
Oregon was weird. It wasn't that weird, for all those people wondering.
Did you go to like Portland, like downtown area, or were you like?
Yeah, we hit up this place called the Pearl. It was like this little downtown area where all the people congregate. There were some businesses there, but because of COVID, they're in what's called a restructuring phase, if I recall correctly. A rebuild
because of the COVID.
Yeah, COVID came over
COVID.
here. It came over here and fucked everyone's shit up. So
Made everybody homeless.
yeah, made everyone homeless and crazy, and so people are rebuilding. They're bouncing back. I hit up Burnside Skate Park because I just had to. The skater and me just had to go and visit that real quick. There was an event going on. I don't know what event, but there's a good amount of people. There was a DJ. There was sports drinks because that's what you have at a skate park. I noticed that they painted it. It didn't look anything like it did in all the skate videos I've seen growing up. Like someone gave it a makeover. It was time.
What kind of skateboard you got?
I have two. What is it? I have a Kevin Romar Pro Deck right here. I don't know if you kind of.
I can see it. Nice. Okay, it's like a freestyle board.
Yeah, new school deck, if you want to call it. Yeah, freestyle. I do have an old school one, but that's in the closet, and I'm not about to go out and get that because it's kind of buried under a bunch of other stuff. Did a lot of eating because we didn't really go out that much. My friends had just come back from a trip from Italy, Spain, and all. I think they were in Bosnia and all sorts of other places. So, we kind of kept it low key, hung out at the house. I hit up a local weed dispensary that was within walking distance. So I just kind of got stoned, watched some horror movies, some My Cat from Hell. We played some. We hit up a local arcade called, what was it, Quarter World. Played a lot of what was it, pinball machines. I'm huge into pinball. If you don't know, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems like a very retro Portland thing. Like the pinball place. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you could get a good amount of games in if you play your hands right. Literally, just pay attention. It could be there all night. I had an opportunity to sample some chicken paprikash, but I was like, you know what, I'll say this for another day. It was at some local restaurant. They have a lot of weird food offerings up there. Came across a lot of, what is it, European offerings. So I had this weird breakfast sandwich. It's not really a sandwich. It was more just like an open face sandwich is what it was. There you go. Just a toasted piece of bread, some 2 over easy eggs, some bacon, some cheese, and some weird house-made ketchup. I don't know.
Kind of feels like your next trip needs to be to visit your friend Quana so she can make you a proper breakfast.
What's there to do in Sacramento?
Eat the food that I make you. I literally, bro, before the happy hour, I roasted a chicken to make soup tomorrow, and I pureed my vegetables. Like, it's gonna be fire tomorrow. It's going down.
Right. We're gonna have a feast when I go up and visit.
Yes, come, I'll feed you.
You got it.
That's what I do. I feed people.
It's a good idea.
I did see some weird things that I'm almost forgetting about. So we hit up this local used bookstore, local famous bookstore called Powell's Books. They sell a lot of new and used books.
Well, that place is in the news, I think.
Yeah.
For what? What'd they do, or who'd they kill?
They either had a book on their on there for sale that the Freakniks didn't like.
Really?
They either had a book. They were selling a book that Antifa didn't like,
right?
Or they weren't selling a book that Antifa did like.
Either way, Antifa's feathers were ruffled, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Word. So I did find a book. You can't really see it because fucking green screen. Anyway, I had to use their facilities, and I went to the restroom, and I was so uncomfortable that their stalls aren't I guess they're retro stalls, or back when people were shorter, because I could see into my neighbor's
Yeah.
bathroom. So I was like, nah, bro, I'm not trying to see all that
Like
right now. Let me just go
World
into
War
and
II
around.
era partitions. Yeah.
Yes, dude. There was a substantial amount of gap in between like the doors and the hinges and everything like that. I was like, wow, I gotta get out of here as quick as possible. And before we had gotten into the palace, there was an individual walking in front of us, and I don't know if it was a working girl or a sugar baby or whatnot, but this young woman was dressed in the, I don't know, platform heels isn't the right moniker for these, because they were just like these absurd novelty sized platform heels is more like it. All right. And then a
Like
skimpy
crazy stripper boots or something.
yeah, she looked like she was getting ready to go to work later that night, because this outfit was hella skimpy. But
Don't really
she
need good traction when you're working the pole. You know what I mean? Not
I
worried
mean,
about balance so much.
it makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe even help
And
like kind of cantilever like your weight of your body when you're up on the pole, maybe.
yeah, the only reason why I don't know, it's just I saw them inside the bookstore, so I was like, wait, is this just like a really slutty costume that she has on for Halloween because it was Halloween
Mm,
weekend, or is she an actual sugar baby that's their date that they're going to is the bookstore? I don't know. It was weird. It was
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
All in
like
all,
put
good
like
time.
put out easily or just not at all. Like it's just really hard to tell with those weirdos.
Yeah. Also, before we even hit that store up, I forgot I'm doing this whole day backwards. This was Saturday, by the way. We had hit up the local Saturday market, their local farmers market or whatever, and at this farmers market, there was a lady sitting at a bench. She kind of hobo adjacent vibes, but she was there making her money. Selling her edibles. She was just sitting there, just casually hanging out edibles for any inquiring minds that wanted to get any. I didn't, just because I didn't know. I wasn't trying to play it that fast and loose, because I don't know what the fuck is in these edibles, like what the
Is it
dosage
because she
is.
was white? Because I've definitely bought tamales out of the trunk of a car in a Food Max parking lot.
I
Was it
recall you
because she was
telling us
white?
that. No, no,
Is it
no,
because she
no,
was white? Is she a
no.
white woman? Big fat white woman?
No, she was. Her ethnicity was. I think it's because she was kind of, a little bit haggard. I couldn't tell what
Oh,
exactly she was. Yeah, so
okay.
yeah.
Judgy.
I'm not judging her. This is, how she looked.
That's how you stay with a solid stomach.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do have to admit, maybe living in those mean Portland streets, she's kind of has a tough tougher constitution than we do. So I don't know.
She's making edibles in a town where they sell edibles in the stores that are like super overpriced and bougie. She's like, here's my homemade edibles.
I would
You're not
like
wrong.
to offer up the possibility that she's stealing those things from a reputable business and then selling them and saying she's made them.
Either way, like, why are you so bougie with your edible purchases?
I
You're
didn't.
young. It's
I didn't
okay.
have
It's
I didn't
fine.
have cash on me either at the time, and I doubt that she was gonna take like PayPal or Venmo or anything like that.
All
You never
right, all
know.
right.
Yeah.
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 Imagine she busts out the stripe squares like, I got you, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, she's like, I got a square, bitch.
We're gonna get this
It is
covered.
very it's so crazy to think that like there's nothing like that happening anywhere around me.
Do you
You
want
know?
that to
No.
be a thing?
No.
Okay.
Like maybe it happens in Austin, like somewhere, but it's definitely not like a tourist attraction. Like I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what's right. Like I like freedom, you know, but freedom can be a little bit
Word.
dangerous.
So you're saying that freedom comes with risk, huh? I gotcha.
Mm, yeah. Oh
Freedom is
yeah.
risky, everybody.
I
If you
guess
learn
we
anything for
we
tonight's episode, is
were
that.
the first humans to ever discover this. Be careful, everybody, with your freedom. I don't know.
And
Yeah, but
and
yeah,
be,
freedom gets you like an airline pilot just whacked out on mushrooms, like just trying to kill you tomorrow. Like,
Thankfully, we didn't come across any wacky airline pilots or attendants or staff that were trying to, that were
does there
putting our
need to
lives in danger.
be like a shroom scanner? Some kind of, do they need to invent a device to make sure that airline pilots aren't, microdosing?
I was tempted to reach
No,
into the drug
they are
bin.
bringing their own urine. They can do whatever
Oh,
they
that's right.
want.
They've already
That's what
got the
I'm
word.
telling you, motherfuckers.
Well, that's why I said
Wild
scanner.
West.
I said scanner, so you can't
Nope.
it's like a brain scanner.
Nope. They just bring it in. They don't even like my girlfriend brings back wine. Like they don't track the people with the badges. They're not going through the TSA. They
Stop
can bring
blowing
in
up her
their
spot,
own
man.
urine forever. Just saying.
They
It
need
is
to have
kind
a
of
She's not
urine
bringing in her
scanner.
own urine. She would like her other flight attendants to also not be on drugs. She would like that to be the case. Yeah. No, that's happening.
Everyone's on drugs,
Sorry.
everybody. That's what we're learning.
Well, somebody's got to be clean to have the clean urine. I mean, it's like somebody's got to be
Yeah, they're kids. They're getting it from their
willing
kids.
to, like compromise everyone's safety for a few bucks.
Right.
Or maybe they're just a conscientious objector and they give their urine away for free. Can't imagine that. I would never, ever. No, just kidding. Give it away for all the time.
Well, Janis
Anything
Joplin
else
said,
crazy?
freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. That's us.
True. Yeah,
that's why we do what we want. Nothing left to lose.
It's an ideal to strive for. But
right.
yeah, but there's a lot of compromises along the way.
Word.
And that's the human condition, is like we make everybody's just making all these different compromises all the time, and it's impossible to regulate or predict or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy to think, we'll wrap up soon, but like this whole Middle East conflict, not that things were going well for Joe Biden,
right,
or the Democrats and his reelection campaign, but it has gone from bad to worse. Like, because now you got like, because the Democrat Party is just like a conglomeration of all these weird, maybe not weird, but just small niche causes, groups, whatever.
Mm.
But now he's got a bunch of them like hating him. So he's losing, African American voters. He's losing Latino voters. He's, like people.
He's lost the middle class.
The Muslim folks are just like, I hate this man. I don't know.
He's a man without constituents.
Word.
There's no way he's going to run. There's no way. 2024 is going to be so.
Gavin's coming in.
Awesome.
Stop it. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. I don't know how it's going to work. Gavin's coming. 2024
is going to be the best.
I sincerely hope not.
The best reality show that you've ever seen. Like, just watching in real time, day by day, like hour by hour. When they start swapping people out. Yeah, and also what if there's a possibility that there's a court that just basically says the whole Trump organization needs to dissolve. That's going on right now.
You sound very disappointed by that.
It's more fascinating. It's really fascinating.
Okay.
If you try to, obviously there's parts of me that I'm in it. So it makes me angry, frustrated, whatever, all kinds of things. But if you look at what's happening now from try to imagine what people 1,000 years from now are going to look at this period, or just not even that, 100 years from now.
Right.
You're just like, man, there's a lot of wild stuff going on. A lot of.
We have to assume that it's going to be written in some places, not going to be just immediately erased. Imagine, where are they going to write our story? Online, they can immediately unplug it. Somebody has to start writing our shit down in hard ink.
Caves. They're going to be in caves somewhere.
It is. Yeah. And then nothing is on
if
paper.
You unplug, it's over. All of my pictures that I put on Facebook for a million years, they're gone.
That's why
someone needs to start a print the internet campaign.
Yes. Imagine how rich you would be.
That's the platform we're going to run on.
Shit you've ever put on Facebook.
It's wild to think about in 100 years. If all they have left are paper records, it's going to be New York Times, Washington Post,
Oh
Washington
my,
Journal,
don't
Boston
get me
Globe. It's going to be LA.
started.
That's the only thing they're going to have.
Gonna
Mark
be the bad.
Wahlberg, Mark
Uh,
Wahlberg, and all his chimp friends are going to be reading the LA Times.
Oh, this.
Thank God Britney Spears' book will still be out about Justin Timberlake's small dick.
Oh my
And books
god.
like that. Yeah. Hopefully enough. Yeah. But then you think, no, if you think about like if Britney Spears' book sold 1 million copies, how many were actually printed? It's very relatively
I
small.
know so many people are listening on audiobook. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's buying like an actual printed copy of it. I'd venture to say 90% are digital.
Mm-hmm.
So then once your phone dies, you don't have her book.
Oh my God.
That's
You
the
You know,
have
if
technology.
ideas, you have
the
memories,
power
but you
cuts
can't
between
reference it.
now and next Friday, I love you guys.
I think
It's so dramatic.
reference librarians were like responsible for keeping all the reference books, like the encyclopedias, dictionaries, like all like that
The
stuff.
Dewey Decimal System,
But like
it's gone.
none of that is actually printed anymore. So they are like digitally archiving it, but it's like, well, that needs
Yeah, good luck
electrons.
with that.
That needs
Yeah.
electrons. So
Elon Musk said that we could solarly run the world, or our country at least, with 100 by 100 of solar panels, like 100 acres. I don't know what he said. Some number that seemed very feasible.
yeah, I
100 by 100.
believe. I mean, there are. I'm sure there are so many unrealized technological advancements that we could have, but there's just like humans. There's a lot of interest in humanity, like not to,
Yeah,
like
money
not to, like
enslaving us to have to pay to keep our lights on.
yeah.
Just work, keep grinding, keep working 12 hours a
I mean,
day,
if you're the
7 days a week.
CEO of Exxon or an oil platform worker at Exxon, I mean, do you really want like free, clean energy? Like, do you really want fission or whatever you call it?
My only argument for
Not
that
really. Like,
is
you're not gonna be able to pay for your Harley. You're not gonna be able to pay for your ranch or your F-250 dually. Like if all of a sudden there's like cheap, clean, free energy, like that would upset things. That would upset the balance of things. So.
I get that, but there will still be a need for oil because there's still going to be machinery around. I mean, there's still going to be oil byproducts that are going to be needed. So it's not like we're just because, these new technologies to run on cleaner energy, that's not going to render oil completely obsolete.
From your
Right.
mouth to God's
Yeah.
ears, buddy.
Yeah, I think in the future, whatever humans do, whatever investments we like in the future, we're gonna just use less oil. We'll have like a lot more technologically advanced power sources.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like if you listen to Timcast at all, you'll hear one of the guys talk about graphene all the time, which is like the next generation of materials, building materials.
Right.
So if concrete and steel have like, just steel changed humanity. Like they're saying that like something like graphene will do the same thing because it's made just from carbon.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they figured out a way to, I mean, think about like a bulletproof vest and like Kevlar, they just make these thin layers of fabric and they're just so thin but strong. And you couple them together, they stop a bullet.
Right.
They're making graphene that's made out of carbon. It's so thin. So it can be like a structural thing.
Mm-hmm.
You build something out of it and it's cheap and you just pull the carbon from the atmosphere. So it like solves two problems. And it also is like an energy conductor of some kind. So yeah, you can look
Okay.
it up. Like if you can look up like this was just on like before I got on tonight, they were talking about Timcast. Like there are batteries, like cell phone batteries that have like a strip of graphene in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the difference between like plugging your phone in and it charges in an hour, and with a graphene battery, not made out of graphene, but just graphene as a conductor, your phone charges in 5 minutes, or your car. So it's like because one of the issues with electric cars is like there's going to be a serious shortage of charging stations, and it takes a while to charge. But there could be like this flip where it's like, oh no, it just your car charges in 10
Elon
minutes.
talked about that on he was on Rogan this week. He talked about the
Yeah.
cars
Yeah, we have
and
to
like
imagine like there's just like we're not done. Like we're not done. There are
no. I mean,
still
we might be. It might be halted. There might be a war to kind of stop everything and slow everything down. I mean, I think that originally we had started this conversation talking about like people need to be aware that things might be different. Like they might be different coming
Mhm.
up. Like we might not have the same access, and you might want to start thinking about ways to make your life, livable without all of the access. Like you might not get your podcasts. You might
Mhm.
need a book to entertain yourself with.
Feed those rabbits. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
maybe.
I have thought about that more, like having books, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like you
lights
don't, no
and
one has like you go into I'm just thinking about how many books are in my house now versus how many books were when I was a kid. I don't know if it's more or less. I was like digitally, there's a tons more,
Mhm.
yeah.
but like physical books,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
My
think there's
daughter just
less.
switched to digital books, and it's in my heart. I was like, she bought a little Kindle and she's like so cute. Like she's putting little stickers on it. And in my heart, I kind of felt like, uh, you know,
Yeah,
like the end of that. It's the end of like going to the library. It's the end of that smell. It's the end of
there's a poem. There's a poet named E. E. Cummings,
hmm
and a line in one of his poems is that was it? Progress is a comfortable disease. And I read that when I was probably 18, 19, and that had a great impact on me because I thought about that. I was like, yeah, it's just all these things that are just make us more comfortable. Like, because
Is
like
an
your
illusion.
daughter's making a decision that's like it is way more efficient for me. Like
cheaper.
my intake, it's cheaper, it's more
Hmm
efficient. My intake of knowledge, like I'll be able to get more
She
learning content,
does.
whatever, this way.
Yeah.
But at the same, but there's a trade-off. Like
Yeah. There
the
is.
more
And
the
I don't
more we
think they don't
become
even know the
dependent on it.
trade-off because it's just
We're
her
being distracted
reality.
by it.
She has no idea that there's a trade-off. She's just like, I
I
can
think
read
that
more books. Like this, she's like, Mom, this book is like $1.99. In the store, it's like, like she's like so jazzed that like she gets to just read more books.
yeah, I
And
think that I think and hope that that a generation is coming up because it's a cycle that does start thinking a lot more about that.
yeah,
They start thinking a lot less about buying the latest model of this or having a house like the people have in the movies and the commercials and all the sitcoms. Everybody's living in a,
yeah,
decked out modern place in every show, you know,
yeah.
um,
Right.
and thinking a lot more about, yeah, can I build something? Can I build a box? Like,
Yeah.
could I grow something? Like, could I
Uh,
It's going to
can
require a
I
permit.
cook without power?
like,
Yeah.
what if
Can
I
I start
buy
a
this
fire?
thing? Like, what if I buy like this $1.99 thing of seeds at Walmart? And like, could I grow
Yes,
like an
buy
entire
seeds.
year
Everyone's
of
got to buy
carrots?
seeds.
Like,
Yeah.
could I turn this $2 into like 50 years of sweet potatoes? Like, just endless supply of food? Like,
Right.
thinking more about that kind of stuff, thinking more about because they're seeing the videos too of like all the people complaining and stuff. So they're probably thinking like, oh, I'd like to not be in that position where I'm complaining about not being able to do this or that or that or this. So
Right.
anyway,
Uh,
it's been nice talking to y'all. I'm gonna go start a fire.
It's
I
been
missed
great
you
talking to
guys.
y'all.
Happy
It's been,
Friday.
yeah, happy Friday. It's good to be
Let's have
back.
a week of doing what we want. Happy
Hell
birthday,
yeah.
mole man.
That sounds
Thank
Another
good.
year
you.
around the sun.
Hell
Happy to
yeah.
know you for another
Except for
full
my
year.
son. My son needs to stop doing whatever he wants. Tell you what,
Yeah, I know.
he's taking years off my life. He's living by my creed, my motto,
A little too
and
much.
just taking ripping pages out of my calendar.
That La Vida Loca stings a little different when it's coming from the youth.
Yeah, it's very it's quite a it's very it's a very it's a it's a struggle. It's an internal struggle because it's like, yeah, you go,
Well.
boy. Then he turns on me. It's like, oh man,
Damn it, what have I done?
should have built a
I
beaver
know.
bunker. Anyway,
Trust me. I get it. Happy Friday, you guys.
yeah, take care.
Thanks everybody for watching. See y'all next time.
Get it on.